evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world listening to The Caring Economy today with me, Toby Usnik. I'm thrilled to have as our guest today, Claus Stig Pedersen, who is the head of global sustainability for the Danish industrial biotech giant Novozymes, a $2 billion company, publicly traded on your B-class stocks, traded publicly. And we're going to learn both about enzymes and industrial biotechnology, and more importantly, about sustainable business of the future. Welcome to The Caring Economy, Claus.
Thank you so much, Toby. I'm so pleased to be here.
Claus, I'm fascinated. I know I come to you through your colleague, my friend Frederick, who works with you in the comms area. And I've even spent a little bit of time in Denmark as a younger person, probably one of my most memorable Christmases there in the beach where you are today. I love the culture and the philosophy of the Danes. I know it's a gross generalization, but so progressive and so very much in step, I believe, leading with sustainability. So to have someone from Novozymes, have you here today to talk about sustainability, but then how we make it real, how we make it scalable, it's an honor to have you. So can you tell our audience a little bit about Novozymes, and then from there we'll go into its history, and then even more basically, what are enzymes and why should we care about them? So let's jump in and give us a little overview of Novozymes and enzymes.
Yes, with pleasure, Toby. Thank you so much for those great questions. But let me start with our technology, enzymes and microbes, what they are and what they do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we are really a company that has copied the solutions of nature and turned that into a business, because we have had numbers of scientists running around in forests, in deserts, in the environment, and identifying interesting biological reactions, brought them home to the laboratory to identify what are the microbes or what are the enzymes that are breaking down this biological material in a specific way or building up a biological substance in another way. And then with that insight from nature, then we turn to industry and say, okay, how can this be used to optimize laundry detergents, for example, so that you can wash your clothes in cold water with less use of water? How can this be used to break down waste from agriculture into sugars that can be fermented into biofuels so that you can drive your car on a CO2 neutral fuel? And how can microbes be used in agriculture to replace fertilizers or pesticides to protect the plant? So those are the questions that we have asked together with our customers. How can biology, how can solutions of nature be applied to do the right things for the world, do the right things for people, and create a good business for our clients? That's the big question that we are finding answers to and turn into a profit.
Just to interrupt there, could you give us some name brand examples of either detergents or agricultural brands or products that our listeners would know?
Absolutely, with pleasure. I mean, we are, our biggest clients are customers like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Henkel, in the laundry detergent area. In the food area, we have customers like AB InBev, the big brewers. We have Nestle. We have a lot of consumer products use our enzymes. In agriculture, we collaborate with Cargill, with Bayer, and many others. So all the big brand names that many people know around the world, they may be our customers.
And are there also, sorry to interrupt, but didn't you get your first enzyme years ago in shoe leather and treating with some sort of enzyme to soften leather or something? Are you in fashion, I guess is what I'm asking?
Absolutely. We are in more than 40 different industries. Wow. In respect of time, I didn't mention all of them, but leather manufacturing and textile manufacturing is also improved using enzymes and microbes. Instead of using a lot of chemistry, a lot of water, a lot of heat, then you can use enzymes. And the beauty about enzymes and microbes is that they can do the demanded effect a million times compared to a chemical. A chemical can react once and then it's done. So enzymes are catalysts, and they are natural catalysts, and they can continue to do the work. And that's why they are so super efficient and good for the environment, because they just keep going. As long as you have the right temperature, the right atmosphere for them, then they just keep going and do the things. And then when they're not needed anymore, they just break down as normal protein. So there's no side effect from this. And that's the beauty of all of it.
So you don't have to worry about chemical spills or things turning bad or storing waste, because nature takes care of itself.
Yeah, exactly. It comes from nature and it goes back to nature, and that's not a problem. We just benefit from them in the industries where we sell them.
Now you're a B2B business in a sense, right? So how do you ever educate or reach out to the larger consumer with what you're doing? Because it's pretty exciting, but I suspect most people don't know how awesome it is.
No, that's true. I mean, we collaborate a lot with our customers and also with the big retailers to basically find out what are the benefits of this technology and how can this be translated into stories that consumers understand and appreciate. And that's something that we do in close collaboration with our customers and retailers. We do life cycle assessments as a basic methodology to understand what are the pros and the cons in the systemic perspective, and then it's translated into what consumers appreciate and understand, and what consumers can do to actually take home those benefits to the environment. For example, the benefit to the environment when we talk about enzymatic enabled laundry only comes through if people remember to turn down the temperature when wash. So we need to engage the whole value chain. We need to engage our customers for the innovation process. We need to engage the retailers in promoting these messages to consumers, and we need to engage consumers in actually doing the things when they are at home.
I can remember as an example of that and it started in Europe, where more concentrated detergents were being created. This is going back maybe 20 years ago, but it was a difficult thing for Americans in particular to put less detergent in the machine, even though that's exactly what it required.
Yeah.
So we were still using the same volume, even though it was more concentrated detergents.
Yeah, so it takes time to change habits.
Yeah.
And I think that's a general challenge we have in driving a sustainability agenda, that it requires a lot of change habit. Yeah. And it just takes time. And we do our part by communicating and by engaging and creating all kind of awareness about these things. And then we are, of course, hopeful that consumers will follow and do the right things.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are with Claus Stig Pedersen, who's head of global sustainability for the $2 billion Danish industrial biotech firm Novozymes. Claus, let's build on that. So you've talked about the change and embracing of sustainability. Perhaps you could still give us a little bit more background on Novozymes and its evolution, but then at the same time, how are you seeing sustainability change during your career, the way it's being embraced or played out or achieved?
Yeah, with pleasure, Toby. Thank you so much for that question. So Novozymes was born in 2000, became an independent company. We were a small part of Novo Nordisk, the big pharmaceutical. We were a different business, and we became independent in 2000. Since 2000, we've had three significantly different business ambitions and priorities, and we have used sustainability in three very different ways on that journey. So let me quickly share with you those three steps and how they are different from each other. So when the company was started as an independent company in 2000, there was a strong focus on generating growth and a turnover, because as a standalone, you want to grow and you want to make a profit so that you can survive. Sustainability was definitely a high priority, but the focus was very much on keeping risks down, keeping costs down, and creating a positive reputation in the local community. So making reports about our sustainability performance that could make neighbors feel good about this company, and make authorities and communities feel good about this company. So that was very much about managing reputation, driving costs and risks. Then in around 2007 and 8, a lot of exciting things happened in the marketplace when Walmart moved into sustainability landscape and basically raised the bar for what consumer product sustainability performance should look like. And since many of our big customers were in that in that line, it was very interesting for us. So we reached out to Walmart and started to collaborate a lot with Walmart. At some point in time, I even served in advisory boards to Walmart on driving sustainability through a number of value chains, where we had a lot of insights to share. So we could see certainly a strong connect between our core technology and what was being demanded in the marketplace from a giant like Walmart, and that it had an impact on our customers. So in 2009, we defined a new business company that basically made sustainability one of 3 strategic pillars for the company. And the ambition we formulated was nothing less that now we were going to change the world together with our customers through our insights and solutions. And then we targeted a strong use of sustainability in our commercial processes, innovation for sustainability, marketing for sustainability, and collaboration with the big retailers to drive more demand. And that was a very successful period for sustainability and business in Novozymes, and it became increasingly our identity. So increasingly, it became clear that we were not just selling enzymes and microbes, we were selling better sustainability or more sustainability to our customers. We were helping our customers succeed in the marketplace
and
using
scaling it, yes,
as a lever. And that was a big change of attitude and mindset inside the company. I remember the first conversations I had with our sales guys back in 2007 and 8 on these topics, and they basically crossed their arms and said, "Customers are not asking." So to me, it was a big change of understanding and an aha moment for me to find out that, hey, guys, in sales, you may be right, but we have a value add here, and it's your role to create the demand. Let's work together. So changing that mindset from customers are not asking to, we have a value proposition here, and it's our role to create the demand because it's good for the world and it's good for the people, it's good for the business. And so that was, yeah.
Let's stick with that Walmart as an example then. So the salesmen and women are crossing their arms saying it's not what they want. So did you go into Walmart and sit down with their sales force and do insight studies on the customer there? When did the Walmart customer start saying, yes, I'd like a more sustainably manufactured detergent or non-GMO yogurt? And not that you're doing, well, maybe you are doing yogurt, I don't know, but how did that rubber meet the road with the example of Walmart and when the customer started to demand it?
Yeah, so it was all happening in parallel, you can say. So we had a sales force in Novozymes that was not too convinced that the customers was going to ask for things and appreciate. At the same time, we had Walmart started to really bang some drums and say we want to drive sustainability here. And at the same time, customers started to say, yeah, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden, the doors opened, or the ketchup effect happened, or what do you want to call it. And everybody could see how these things connected. That we could help our customers deliver to the demands of Walmart. We could work with Walmart to inform them about what would be the relevant things to ask that could be better for environment, better for people without increasing cost. So all these things suddenly just fell together, and all of this happened in 2008 and 9.
Wow.
And then we've been working on this ever since. So that was really what gave us the courage to step up in terms of what sustainability should mean for Novozymes, and that gave us a lot of great relations to many of our customers, basically helping our customers become successful in the market. Then in 2014, we had to think about a new ambition for the company because we had set targets for 15, and in 14 we had to think about okay, what's next? What are we going to do next? And then fortunately, we've been engaged in the global goal development process.
The Sustainable Development Goals.
Exactly. We got involved already in Rio in 2012, so we had a good idea of what was coming. And in 2014, we pushed those insights in front of our executive management team and our board of directors and say, the world is about to agree on something really big and really interesting. We should listen and we should act proactively, because this is potentially a purchase order from the future. This is a signal from 193 countries about the world that we all want in 2030. And it's extremely meaningful to support realization of those ambitions and those goals. And just if half of it becomes true, then we will have today an extremely precise long-term forecast for what business should innovate for, where business should go to become maximum relevant for the world going forward.
And an amazing network to tap into right away, because you're all there together working on it.
But of course, I mean, when you put UN in front of executive management and board of directors back in 2014, I mean, you nearly get kicked out of the room, because UN, when has UN ever been relevant to business?
Correct.
Bureaucracy, all kind of naming and shaming of the UN you experience. So this was very uncommon back then, to collaborate on these things or to use guidance from the UN in a business context. But we discussed it long enough to agree that this could probably be a really good guidance for us as a company to move into the future and maximize our relevance for the world. So in 2015, in January, so 9 months before the global goals were signed, we launched a new company purpose, which made sustainability our company purpose. We formulated as, together we will find biological answers to create better lives in a growing world. So that's our purpose formulation. And our strategy was named Partnering for Impact, because we said there's a lot we can do alone. There's a lot we can do with our customers. There's even more we can do when we collaborate with opinion leaders, with NGOs, authorities, with all kinds of partners that are part of the ecosystem where we try to do business. If we listen to them, learn from them, understand them, and collaborate with them, then we can move much bigger rocks. So we named our strategy that, and Partnering for Impact. And impact, we said that's impact against the UN Global. And we did that 9 months before the global goals were signed. And that was, of course, a very early move that gave us a lot of fame and glory and credits for taking that bold step.
Yeah. Can I ask you, would it be safe for our listeners, again, ladies and gentlemen, today's guest on The Caring Economy is Claus Stig Pedersen, who is the head of global sustainability for the $2 billion Danish industrial biotech firm Novozymes. And today we're learning all about enzymes and biotechnology. Can you tell us who your competitors are? Would it be, for example, my stepfather spent most of his career at BASF, the German chemical conglomerate. Are you more of a competitor with chemical companies or someone else?
Yeah, so we have a number of direct competitors that also manufacture enzymes and microbes. They are smaller than us. We have roughly 50% of the world market. But our real competitors, they are the companies that produce chemicals. They are the companies that produce a lot of energy. They are the companies that produce a lot of water. So the companies that produce what we replace, that's our real competitors. Because if they turn down the prices, then we have fierce competition. And so that's our real competition. And that also tells you how big a company we can become when we get the framework condition in a better shape to drive more demand for sustainability in the market, when we get a more fair pricing of CO2 emissions and pollution and water use and these kind of things. So as the world moves towards sustainability, as the world moves down the SDG avenue, demand will hopefully grow for solutions that are better for the world and better for people. And then our business will of course also grow as a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a great business already, but clearly when we look at the world, there are so many areas that should be better.
Yes.
There are so many things that could be done better, and we have a lot of technologies on the shelf that could be used even more and should be used even more in the future. And that's also why we are very engaged with opinion leaders, NGOs, to understand them and make them a driver of this agenda. We work a lot with governments around the world to inform them about the benefits to society of using biological solutions instead of chemical solutions or energy solutions. So we work a lot with the different players in the systems to drive these agendas forward.
So Claus, to that end, some of our listeners on the Caring Economy are college or university students. Is Novozymes working with some of the research universities to either fund research or make the students and faculty aware of your work and the career opportunities that come with biotechnology?
Absolutely. All the things you mentioned we do.
Great.
So we have strategic partnerships with a number of the top universities around the world, in Denmark, in the US, and China, and many other places, where we collaborate on new on research and new innovations. We engage a lot with the students. I go out, and many of our colleagues go out and give lectures and give presentations at universities about the potential of biology for a better world and a better business. We have large number of master and PhD students coming to us and doing projects inside Novozymes. So we definitely engage a lot in that, and we have programs to mobilize our employees to go out at high schools and basic schools to educate about biology and sustainability.
Right.
So we try to work on all levels of the educational ladder to expand the understanding of biology as a solution and make it clear that Novozymes is a good place to work.
Really cool.
Come join us. And then also to push and promote innovation and research and unlock even more solutions for the benefit of business and our planet.
So I'd like to stick with that as it pertains to you and your own career journey. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're with Claus Stig Pedersen, who's the head of global sustainability at the $2 billion industrial biotech firm Novozymes out of Denmark. Tell us a little bit about your own career journey and how, Claus, you got here. What was, in particular, my audience loves to hear about is the pivots. Why did you go left at one point when someone went right, and clearly it made all the difference? So tell us your story.
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. So my story actually started more than 30 years ago when I was a student at the Technical University of Denmark. I studied chemistry. So I was not sure that was the meaning of my life. So I took a stab and I grabbed my surfboard and I traveled to Southeast Asia, Indonesia, and Philippines and other places where there was good waves. And then I saw pollution and I saw environment being broken down. I saw people suffering, and I got really upset about that. I'm really personally upset. So when I came home, I joined Greenpeace and want to make a difference. I looked into politics and could I make a difference there? And I was not impressed by the ability to make a difference using those channels. So I decided to complete my studies as a chemical engineer, try to grab whatever I could that just smelled a little bit about environment, and try to find out how could I get inside business and find out how you can turn business to make a profit from doing the right things instead of profiting from doing the wrong thing. And then fortunately I met some of the pioneers that was developing life cycle assessment methodologies. And I got very, very interested in that concept because it was expanding the scope and expanding the understanding of how things connect.
And how did you get to know, sorry to interrupt, but how did you get to know these people? Were you just out on the street or?
I was a professor at the Technical University, and I was just about to do my master's. And he got a phenomenal grant from the Danish EPA to develop these methodologies. And I just jumped on his back and said, I want to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Cool.
I could just see the perspectives. So I did my master's in life cycle assessment, and I became a consultant doing life cycle assessments. There was a consultancy at the university. And then I did a lot of life cycle assessments, primarily for the packaging industry back then. And then a big pile of report built up, and nothing happened.
Mm.
Then I proposed to the packaging company that they should recruit me, and I should then find out how can we move this fantastic information about the right thing to do and make it what we do. How can we integrate it into the business process?
Mm-hmm.
And then I could write a PhD about it. And they said yes. Surprisingly, they said yes. And yeah, we're now 23, 24 years back. So it was very early. I did my PhD. It took me 6 years because I had to do it in the weekends. And everything I did in this packaging company was integrated into the business and tested in the real life.
Wow.
And that was a packaging company from making packaging from waste paper. And during those years, we managed to capture packaging solutions for Philips, Motorola, Nokia, Ericsson, basically taking out expanded polystyrene, replacing it with molded fiber. Then after 10 years there, I was leading sustainability and quality for the group. And then I got a call from the CEO of Novozymes who wanted me to do the same thing, basically integrate this into the business. So I started in Novozymes in 2006, where I basically started to find out how can we integrate it into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And first day at work, I proposed to the CEO, we need to get hold of Walmart because Walmart is about to do something very interesting.
Bravo.
Yeah, and that was like, to me, because I had this systemic mindset. I looked at Novozymes customers and said, okay, they have one thing in common. Their biggest customer is Walmart.
Yeah.
We need to work with that.
Who was the CEO at that time? Was that Doug?
No, his name is Steve Pedersen.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like that professor way back when was one of those integral parts of your career when you met him. And
absolutely. Yes,
do you keep up with him to this day?
Yeah. He's quite old now, but I still see him.
What's his name?
He's Leo Elting.
I like to give shout outs to people who've made such a contribution to our careers.
Leo Elting, he was a very, very visionary professor back then. And he basically came up with the concept of life cycle assessment and managed to convince the Danish EPA to give him a large sum of money to do research on methodologies. Mm-hmm. And that was extremely visionary back then.
I'll give a shout out today to Bob Eccles, who I studied with briefly at Harvard Business School on sustainability. And as I think you probably know, has really been quite a pioneer around SASB, the Sustainable Accounting Standards Board. Makes me want to ask you about measurement. How do you, maybe just for your own brand, how do you measure success when it comes to sustainability and impact? Do you follow GRI? Do you have certain things you avoid? How does Novozymes measure success in sustainability?
Yeah, so when we look at our technology and take that into the world, we always do life cycle assessments. Later, in the recent years, we've done what we call SDG assessments. Mm-hmm. So we have added a number of socioeconomic parameters. Life cycle assessments better reflect the SDG universe.
SDGs being the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN.
Yeah, exactly. So in that way, we can better understand what is the potential of this technology to contribute to environmental and social positive things in the environment. And so that's our opportunity dimension. When we look at our own operations, we certainly also want to take responsibility for minimizing the negative impacts from our operations. So on the opportunity side, it's only positive. So the question is, in what parameters is it positive and how much? Mm-hmm. In the operations, it's about reducing the negative impact from energy consumption, water consumption, and waste and other parameters. So we in the reporting on our internal things, we use all the standards like the GRI you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And on the external part, we use the best available life cycle assessment methodologies and tools and databases. Mm-hmm. And when we use life cycle based documentation for marketing purposes, we always apply a third party verification to avoid claiming
conflicts.
things
Yes,
that is not credible.
Yeah.
Um,
And do you, I love on your website, you talk a little bit about Zymers, which I presume are your employees. Can you talk a little bit about Zymers and corporate citizenship or CSR above and beyond pure traditional sustainability? Where is, for example, Novozymes on social justice or COVID-19 or Black Lives Matter, the issues that are really rocking our world real time, the nationalist fervor? There's a lot going on globally, and I know Denmark is not immune to it. So how does that come to bear on your daily business interactions?
We have, for a long time, we have had a program that has made it possible for our employees to engage in sustainability-related activities that benefit the local communities. I mean, everybody in Novozymes knows that when we go to work, we help produce enzymes that does tons of good stuff for the world. And the rational thing to do was just to produce more enzymes and sell more enzymes. That was the best thing we could do for the world. But that's not enough. We also want to, our employees I want to myself to be deeper engaged in something meaningful at a personal level. And it is also needed and expected from our communities. So we've had this program for years that has allowed people to spend time, work time, to do things that is good for the community. And when the pandemic hit us, we turned that program into a focus on how can we help support local communities get through the COVID crisis. So we have done a lot of things in our different sites, and it's very, very many different things. But we have been supporting school feeding programs. We have supported continued education in different parts of the world by being part of the education physically with people with insights on biology, but also as something new, we have provided laptops and we have provided internet for the learners to work from home and learn from home. And yeah, so many different initiatives to basically use our key competences and use our surplus of resources to help local communities get through this crisis. And we have engaged our employees directly in this. And this has been the right thing to do for the communities and has been a very popular thing to do for our employees to engage in these things. And it makes people even more, you can say, proud and happy to be part of the Zymer family.
Great. And I think, we're still in this. I wonder for your brand, I suspect there are going to be innovations and solutions of the future that you're going to be critical in creating. We've all become dependent on sanitizers as an example. We can't go anywhere without them. So what does the sanitizer of the future look like? And, where are enzymes in that? I wonder out loud. So
and we are having these conversations with the relevant customers that are in those businesses. And we have seen those businesses actually grow quite a lot in the pandemic period. So, because the demand for cleaning products and sanitizing products has just grown.
Exponentially,
we're also supplying into pharma industries where our solutions go into some of the test kits. So we are, you can say, we're part of the opportunity part of this. So to fight pandemic, there is an additional business opportunity, and we are also taking responsibility by taking good care of our people and taking good care of our communities at the same time.
That's very exciting. It's the past, present, and future.
That dynamic goes. You see that you find that again and again in the way we work. So, we have an opportunity to profit from doing the right things for the world through our core business, and then we also have a responsibility to do whatever we can with our own hands, people, and minds in our own operations. So this opportunity and responsibility always try to make it go hand in hand.
Yes. Well, as I've written in the Caring Economy, it's really about raising the bar on ourselves in a way that only makes us more nimble as changes or curveballs like COVID come up. So my belief, strong belief, is that brands such as Novozymes or any number of companies, the more they're practicing a rigorous corporate social responsibility, the more prepared they are for the unexpected because they're nimble, they're collaborative, broadly speaking, I think more open source in nature. And they are offering to the employees, the shareholders, and the customers what they want. There's a real dialogue. So in a challenging time, those brands are more likely to get the benefit of the doubt from their partners, their customers, their employees, because they've, broadly speaking, done the right thing and continue to raise the bar on their level of play.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think this open, connected, systemic way of working is much more resilient
Mm-hmm.
and adaptive to these changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you build a lot of capital, a lot of goodwill in the system around you, and you are connected to the system in ways that can constantly keep you learning and changing and be agile and relevant for the communities, compared to the very closed, very old school,
Protectionist
way of working.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, this is the way forward for sustainability. This is even more the way, the success formula for the future, to be able to master this complexity,
Mm-hmm.
because it is more complex to work connected,
Yep.
the entire ecosystem. But I don't see any way forward.
I agree, and it's actually it's beautiful in the sense that it mimics nature. You know, it's
exactly.
we see so many answers in nature, from architecture to enzymes, you name it.
Ecosystem alive, compared to the opposite.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled today to have Claus Stig Pedersen with us. He is the head of global sustainability at the Danish industrial biotech giant Novozymes, $2 billion company. Claus, let's take a quick trip around the world with my listeners today. You from your beachside home in Denmark, and me from my little studio here in the Hudson River Valley. I haven't been on a plane in 9 months after going to China on a quarterly basis for the past 3 years. I'm sure you've been living and jetting around the world up until this spring. Tell us where you're seeing the sort of the accelerating or the high points in sustainability globally. Where are you seeing room for improvement from India, China, South America? You can fill in the blank. I know you have presence in China. I'm very bullish on China, but we can start anywhere you want. But give us a few examples, if you would, of some leading spots around the world.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
I'll start if you want and fill it. I do believe in China as a critical part of the success of sustainability, whether it's solar or high-speed rail, telecommunications, 5G. China's getting slammed right now by this administration and the quote-unquote China virus, which I find offensive, but nonetheless, it's there. But I've worked with so many young mainland Chinese students and business people who are so hardworking, so ambitious, so bright, and want to better themselves and reflect well on their families and nation. So I'm quite bullish on China. And luckily for us, we have hundreds of thousands of Chinese students studying here in the United States. So I don't even need to get on a plane now to engage with them. So I find them very encouraging, but that's just one example from my purview. What about you? What do you see for Novozymes?
No, but let's stay a little bit with China. I'm also quite thrilled about the recent climate ambitions just launched by the Chinese government during the UN General Assembly a few weeks ago. I think that is it's a very, very strong signal. And normally when China sets goals like this, they meet them. So I think that's very encouraging. And I think it's going to drive a lot of development everywhere when a country like China makes a move like this. And I think what is really strong is the commercial rhetoric around it. I mean, it's not just to do good. It's the right thing to do, and we can profit from it and benefit from it. Just need to let the dog out.
Oh, let the dog out, yeah. And then And we'll do a couple more questions. I know we're having a fun, long conversation here for our guests. There's the puppy. What's his name?
It's Tara.
It's a beauty. I believe strongly that animals make us better people.
Yeah. So I think that is a very encouraging. I also think it's very encouraging the youth movement personified by Greta Thunberg. All the young people stepping up, being vocal, and putting a pressure on their parents and politicians, and the consequences we've seen. I mean, we've seen climate elections in Denmark, in Austria, and all over Europe. We've seen the European elections last year was also a climate election, and now we see some of the outcomes, like the European Green Deal. I mean, there are so many big, bold, ambitious policy frameworks being put in place now. And I truly believe that we have the technologies to solve most of it. We have all the money to make it happen. And I do think that by putting these things better together in the coming decade, we can make it work.
Yes. I would say it's about leadership in the end. That's the element that catalyzes it all. So to that end, I wonder what you think about if we have a Biden-Harris administration come November 4th, clearly we'll go back into the Paris Treaty. What might you wish or hope to see if the U.S. re-enters that treaty in terms of how we engage with the world? Are we going to be welcomed back? Will we have to earn our way back?
No. I think you'll be so welcome.
Yeah.
People like me and people that I meet all over the world, we know there's only one way forward, and that is named collaboration. We need to collaborate in the small systems, in the big system, and in the global system to solve some of these global challenges, and we know that we will all benefit from it. Collaboration and partnerships, I mean, they are more complicated, but it's the right thing to do. We know that from our private life, we know that from our business life, we know that from working together across the different nations. It's the right thing to do. So I have no doubt that you will be welcomed back in the club that wants to repair the big global challenges.
Great, fingers are crossed. Claus, I'm going to let you have the closing word here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the great honor today of being with Claus Stig Pedersen, who is the head of global sustainability at the Danish $2 billion industrial biotech firm Novozymes. If you don't know about enzymes enough still, check it out, because this is the way forward. Claus, tell me as a sort of final thought about surfing and its role in your life. It seems to be your meditative secret weapon. What would you want us non-surfers to know about it?
Yeah, surfing is, first of all, it's a great sport, but it's more than that. I mean, it's about going out in nature where nature is brutal, and where you are at risk if you don't work with the nature. So I think this being in nature, appreciating the powers of nature, and then work with the powers of nature instead of fighting them. I mean, I think that's a key learning for all of us, and I apply a lot of that logic in my work life, because I work in a biotech company where all we do is try to find what are the smart things that evolutions in nature has created over billions of years that can used for the benefit of people in industry. That's our core business model. So I think there's a lot of similarities in that way of thinking and acting. And then it's a great way to stay fit and healthy and recharge your batteries, and that's great. And I was out this morning, and I'm probably going out next morning again. So
that's great. Since this is a podcast, our listeners can't see you, but I can through our Zoom call today, and I can attest to the fact that you are fit and trim. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you to Claus Stig Pedersen, who's the head of global sustainability at the industrial biotech giant Novozymes. And please come back after we're back in the Paris Treaty.
We hope you will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.